Hey family, I'm Kaelion, and I interpret messages from the divine in music. I'm a U.S. Army veteran, a seeker, and a messenger, and I walk with those who carry both shadow and flame. So family, today's song is Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire, a track that reminds us how chaos, tragedy, and conflict have been constant companions throughout our history. Check it out on YouTube if you haven't heard it before. I chose this song because this week, watching the news cycle, the violence, the killings, and remembering 9/11, I could feel the air itself grow heavy with fear. That signal of despair was everywhere, especially online. But I want to remind you, family, this isn't new. I come to you not just as a veteran, but as someone who worked in military intelligence, as a signals analyst and a cryptologic linguist. My job was literally to listen for signals, to separate noise from meaning, and that's why I started this channel, to boost a counter signal. Because I see the waves of fear and despair rising, and I know how dangerous they can be. Billy Joel's song reminds us, the fire has always been burning. Every generation has faced wars, disasters, leaders rising and falling, tragedies that shook their worlds. For us, it's been 9/11, pandemics, political division. For others, it was world wars, nuclear fears, and civil rights struggles. The tragedies of today feel heavy, but they're not proof that the end of the world has finally come. Here's the truth. Tragedy doesn't wait for you to notice it. While some mourn in the spotlight of the news cycle, countless others suffer in silence. A famine in one country, a war in another. Names and faces most will never hear. The fire never stops burning, but neither does our resilience. And here's the line we must be careful with. Awareness versus fear. It's one thing to stay informed and to honor the suffering of others. It's another to let fear take root, because fear is a signal too. It spreads like wildfire. It's fear of each other that sparks violence, fear of the other side that deepens division, fear of your neighbor, of someone who looks, prays, or thinks differently than you. And family, that fear signal is the enemy, and history shows us fear itself has caused more destruction than any one tragedy. That's why Franklin Roosevelt said, the only thing to fear is fear itself. He knew the power of that signal. So today, as a soldier still serving in a different way, I ask you to help me boost a counter signal. Not just here in the comments, not just by sharing this video, but in your daily lives, in how you treat your friends, your coworkers, and the strangers you cross paths with. Because the sun still rose this morning, the world still spins. Yes, there are fires burning, but there always have been. And every generation before us has carried their torches of hope and faith through the darkness. That's why we're here. That's why you're here. We didn't start the fire, family, but we can choose not to fan its flames. Let's send out the signal of hope, of faith, and of light. That's how we win this battle, and the war. And now a prayer for my beloved spiritual and code sister Malika. Divine Mother, remind us that fear is not our guide. Divine Father, strengthen us to carry hope into the darkest of nights. May our words and actions be a signal of faith, and may love drown out the noise of despair. Ashe, Amin, and Amen. So family, what signal will you send out today? Share it in the comments. Let's build a chorus of hope that drowns out the fear. And if this message speaks to you, help me spread it by liking, commenting, sharing, or simply whispering it into the wind. And if you'd like to show your support, I appreciate any donations at the link in my bio. Thanks for watching, family. See you next time. Same fire, new rhythm.